Life's a game, man. You know, it's not just track and field. It's life, man. You gotta finish first, or you're gonna finish last, based on how hard you work, how much effort you put into it.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much longer. Man, I've been waiting all night now, that's how long I've been on ya. I need you right now.
Freakonomics is a compilation of unusual social trends that exist in the modern world. These larger trends were compared to similar trends, usually on a smaller scale. Several of these revolved around student habits and how their grades were affected. We decided to use the Monte Vista environment to our advantage and analyze productivity and grades of our fellow students from an extracurricular activity angle. Specifically, what effect do extracurricular activities have on a student's grades?
What effect do extracurriculars have on the classroom?
I think they have a positive effect on the classroom. Extracurricular activities make you you have less time to do homework, but if you want to get anything done, give it to the busiest person. And the person that's busy tends to do better. And generally, kids that do extracurriculars are happier than those who are doing nothing else but studying.
So would you say these students that are involved in extracurricular activities tend to perform better academically?
Generally, yeah.
So, what do you believe is a reasonable number or reasonable amount of time to devote to extracurricular activities?
Several hours every day.
And do you feel like these extracurricular activities are useful skills in the future?
Of course. You have to have social skills. Or how are you ever going to work in the workplace with other human beings? If all you do is sit and study by yourself, are you really doing something effective that has real world value? I don't think so.
I've heard students talk about, they only get 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night because not only are they playing, soccer and they've got a club they're president of and they're an ASB officer, but then they also got all these AP classes.
Okay.
I think in general, I think the average student in Monte Vista probably overloads. I had last semester or last year, whatever, a student recently who did an all-nighter to study for a test, and then he got to class and he was just like, his brain was mush. He's like, I couldn't think. He's like, I went over everything. It all seemed vaguely familiar, but I just couldn't think, and he got an F on the test. Wow. Because his brain was mush.
Okay.
It's like it's better to, this is one of my pearls of wisdom, it's better to stop studying and not finish studying and go to bed and get some sleep so your brain's working than to cram everything in your brain and don't sleep and then your brain's mush and you can't think.
Do you think there's any benefit from extracurricular activity involvement in terms
Absolutely. I mean, there's huge stuff like talking about teamwork, about organizing things, about engaging in a commitment and following up on it. There's tons of benefits to it, but I think the kids at school just go way overboard.
Let's go, guys! Come on, Robert!
What's the value, if you feel, exists in participating in clubs and extracurriculars?
I feel like clubs and extracurriculars are like another way for people to get their mind off things and to switch mindsets. If you're studying and stuff, then you can just stop and do another thing that you have to do.
I mean, school gets kind of boring and frustrating at times. Extracurriculars, I think, helps break up the sort of monotony. And usually it's something that you enjoy, so in terms of time spent and time management, I think being in sports actually helps me manage my time better because I don't get distracted and do other things first. So I'm more inclined to do my homework first. Whereas if I'm not in season and I get to go home at my normal time, then I'll kind of spend my 2 hours or so after I get back home not doing anything.
Like our book Freakonomics, we decided to approach the problem from a statistical perspective. We conducted a survey that got 66 respondents and compared extracurricular activities to schoolwork and leisure time. What we found was a positive correlation between more activities and GPA. This agreed with our study of other research papers that show that extracurricular activities can have a beneficial effect on academics. However, 52% of our respondents found that these extracurriculars prevented them from finishing schoolwork. When these activities got in the way, it led to the student doing 3.5 activities rather than the 2.8 that someone who didn't have them get in the way would do. These people did 2.5 more hours on these activities, 4.5 more hours on schoolwork, and 2.5 fewer hours on leisure, all at the same time as having fewer AP and honors classes and a lower GPA. So what we can conclude from this is that extracurriculars can be good for academics. However, too many can hurt academic performance. And this agrees with research studies that we found, which showed that extracurricular activities in moderation can help, but in excess can hurt. So what's your current extracurricular involvement?
So as of now, I only really go to the gym and I swim occasionally.
Okay, so about 2 activities right now.
Yes, 2 activities.
Okay.
Do you mean sports or do you mean like
anything?
Academic?
So sports,
So I'm also
clubs.
part of DECA and I'm also part of debate.
Okay. And how involved are you in those right now?
I am a captain of parliamentary debate, so I am definitely about an hour and a half every single day for debate. And for DECA, I would work on my plan at least an hour every single week. So.
Okay. So, you seem pretty heavily involved in extracurricular activities, would you say that?
Yes.
Okay, so according to our data, participating in too many extracurricular activities can hurt your academic performance. What do you make of this?
I think that, if it's in specific, like for example, if you're part of if extracurricular is stuff like DECA or like debate where you're actually engaging your mind, then I feel that it shouldn't be hurting you academically. Mm-hmm. But if it's if you're doing sports 24/7, then I feel that it could, just because you have less time to focus on studies and whatnot.
Okay, and so have you ever had to put off doing schoolwork because of an extracurricular activity?
I have several times, but I've always been able to time myself appropriately so I can finish the work, be it 12 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Okay, so what we found actually is that people whose extracurricular activities prevent them from finishing work often spend even longer doing schoolwork, longer on their extracurricular activities, and end up having less time for themselves. And ultimately, this doesn't even result in higher GPAs. So what do you make of this?
That's pretty surprising. I always felt that doing exercise and stuff would actually help your mind grow faster. It would help you be more engaged in your homework after you worked out. So that's pretty surprising, actually.
Mm-hmm. So seeing these results, how do you think you'll change your activities in the future?
I would definitely, considering that doing more of these would hurt me academically, I definitely cut down on them. I'd probably do this. I'd probably do my homework before I actually do the activity, just because I want to be totally engaged and get 100% of the homework.
So currently, how many extracurriculars are you involved in? This includes clubs and sports. And how much of your time does it take up on a weekly basis?
I'd say 3 activities and probably around 15 hours a week.
Okay, so I'd say you're pretty heavily involved in extracurriculars on average. Would you say that this takes away from your free time that you wish you could have? Does it hinder you from doing from your academics and things like that?
To a certain extent, yeah. Obviously, I don't have as much time as I would if I didn't participate in the activities, but I feel that the time that I put into these activities is worth the enjoyment and satisfaction that I get from them.
Okay. We have studies that actually show that a lot of students who are involved in too many extracurriculars, what happens to them is they lose a lot of time at home to do their academic stuff and get enough sleep, things like that, and that actually hinders their academic performance. So what do you make of this?
I think it's true that if students are involved in too many extracurriculars, that it just takes away from their time and it creates an unnecessary level of stress. But I don't feel that I'm involved in too many extracurriculars, and for me the enjoyment I get out of them definitely makes up for the time that I put in.
Mm-hmm. We later caught up with Stephen to talk about how he was doing and found out he sustained a foot injury. This is what he had to say about his newfound time.
Have you noticed a change in your academic performance after this? Has there been more time at home for you to work, for you to get things done?
There's more time, but I haven't exactly been using it more efficiently. So
okay.
My schoolwork is about the same. My academics and all that are more or less they used to be.
So what would you say to the Monte Vista students about involvement in extracurricular activities and how you should manage the amount you do versus the amount of time that you have at home to do work?
Well, there's a balance between everything. So you don't want to do too many extracurricular activities, but you should find enough that you feel like you're getting something out of it that's really beneficial to you.
What we conclude from this study is that extracurricular activities in moderation can be beneficial. And what we recommend from our results is that going forward, people should plan out their time better by looking at how much time they're allotting to activities. They shouldn't sacrifice school for extracurriculars. Awareness is important, so education on this topic is vital, especially to freshmen, so as to curb this Monte Vista culture of trying to do too much. What we found as a group about our community is that there's so many driven and extremely active people at our school. However, they often don't realize that trying to overextend oneself can be more harmful than beneficial.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much longer. Man, I've been waiting all night now, that's how long I've been on ya.